Well, basically, scene-by-scene color correction is bringing all the color gradings of each shot together within a program so that everything is within the same atmosphere, for example. So, for example, what you want to do is, very often when I'm doing a TV program, I want to establish an atmosphere for the interior shots, an atmosphere for the exterior shots, and then an atmosphere, for example, or otherwise known as a look, for specialized situations. So basically you want to grade them all so that they all have the same color grading and no shot jumps out at you as being a totally different color. And the trick is not to technically grade each shot to be perfect, but to make them all work together as a whole. This is the name of the game here. So that what I always tell people is the color has to flow from scene by scene all the way through the program. When I'm grading a project scene by scene, generally what I do is I will view the whole sequence together with all the shots. And then what I do is I identify the shots that need special work. And then once I've established the color grading for it, I then go through and balance them all so they all have the same look or grade on them. Occasionally, sometimes I will run into a situation that I'll have a difficult shot within a sequence. And now the trick that I always use for this is I will grade all the other shots first and then come back to that shot in the end. And then it gives me, by grading these shots, I then will very often formulate an idea of how to deal with this particular difficult scene. Sometimes if a shot is very poorly exposed, for example, or if it's a very problematic shot, sometimes the shots that are better or better exposed, for example, sometimes you will have to grade those down a little bit, or sometimes, as what we say, sacrifice the grading on those so that you can match the bad shot or the difficult shot with this. When starting out to do scene-by-scene color correction, when you're working on it for the first time, the idea that I always tell people, for example, as I mentioned before, don't try to make each shot perfect, but to try to make them all work together as a whole. This is something that's very critical when you are grading material like this. Now, a thing too to remember is don't spend too much time in grading a shot, because then you become so overly critical that it never looks good. So what you want to do is do a quick grade and then go back and look at it later and then see how it works. Also, a thing to remember is utilizing your scopes. You can also ascertain when you're doing color correction whether your monitor is properly calibrated. Because as I've always mentioned before in other videos, it's so important to have a properly calibrated monitor. And so, for example, if you look at color bars or a grayscale on the output of Resolve, or any other color corrector for that matter, and you look at it through the monitor and you notice that the grayscale looks dark or the color bars look wrong or something like this, then you know immediately that there's something wrong with your monitor if it does not agree with the signal that you are looking at on the test signal generator. And this is the thing that I always use within Resolve, because Resolve has a really beautiful little test signal generator, which you've got grayscales and color bars and everything you want in there. And so if you put that up, you can immediately call this up, and then you can see whether your signal is correct or not. So there we have it. For more information about training services, have a look in the comments below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Think about subscribing to my channel, so this way you can be alerted to all the new upcoming videos. And also think about taking a training class with me. I've got a lot coming up there, and so it'd be great to have you in one of my classes. And also think about becoming a Patreon. I've got a Patreon as well, and so there's a lot of great perks there as well. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.